What's up, guys? This is JTQ9 of SSX-1, and welcome back to the channel. This season 33, war number 9, for me, was pretty easy. Not gonna lie. Only had 3 fights this war against CIRR. So that's the motto of this thing. It seems like I was on vacation this time, but regardless, it is still a tier 1 war. It is still an extremely important that we go through this. So we got the 3086 versus the 3164 Savage Squad, and here we go. So again, fight number 1, Hazard Shift, Void. You've seen me take this all season. This one here, I decided not to accelerate as much because it was probably the worst showing against this node that I've had. For whatever reason, I don't know, since the update, that the inputs were a little bit off, or the AI was a little bit different, or whatever the case was. You're gonna see me eat a lot more damage here than I've previously done. So in the past, I feel like I've made this look pretty easy. Again, strategy, throwing the SP1, keeping track of the count, and making sure that none of the debuffs get on me. Penny being at R4 now makes it a lot easier in general. But for whatever reason, I don't know. I like, here I get a debuff on me. I like miss the count in a one coming up too, that I don't know, like right there, I don't know why I did that with the count so close, even though I had the SP1 ready. And then, well, so far so good. I mean, this is kind of standard. At this point, I'm not really concerned about what's going on, but I'm trying to remember what happened that I was concerned about. Oh, yeah, I went to there. At that point, I pushed him to 70 hits, so now all of a sudden I've got to get my count up. So I took a little bit more damage there. And then, oh yeah, I remember now. At the end of this fight here, I think I even slowed it down for you guys. Like, I got to this point where I was like, oh, it's fine, we're just going to throw an SP1 to end it. But we threw it right into a block. And if it wasn't for the fact that, you know, I was eating a 5-hit combo to the face, and I had a debuff on, so he was doing way more damage against me. Anyway, and that's how that particular fight can get out of control really, really quickly. Furthermore to that is, at the end of that fight, as you just saw, I had a disconnect. So here I am freaking out, being like, oh my gosh, I hope this thing recorded. I hope it went through. I hope the fight, everything was there. My screen was still recording, so at least you could kind of see everything was going. And I logged in, and thankfully I did not see him still standing. Our battle group was still fine, and that death didn't count. So anyway, war number 2, sorry, not war number 2, fight number 2 against Black Panther. Here we have, actually I waited till the boss went down. So I took this in the morning. The inputs were feeling a little bit better. I had the House of X pre-fight on it, even though I don't think I really needed it. It's always safe to have, just in case, because you might accidentally parry something. But I was basically playing as if I didn't have the pre-feed on, just to try to bait the specials where I could. And he was being very stingy. Obviously, one of the things you want to watch out for is if he is having the reflective kind of armor on at that point, that you are doing some damage, is to not take that quick hit back, because that can do some big damage. So once the global was down, the strategy here, like there, that would have been a prime example where you had the armor up, and had I not had the House of X, the white mags pre-fight on there, that could have potentially got me into a little bit of trouble. So fortunately it didn't. The strategy here was basically do a penny cycle, throw the SP1, get the spider senses up, and then throw the SP2 like you just saw, and the fight was over. So it was a little longer getting to my SP2, but overall it worked pretty well. And then we have this Mojo fight. This Mojo fight I was worried about. Initially, I was talking with DLL for a while about taking it with Torch, did some duels. He was recommending with Defiance with Reed. That was basically like a much easier, safer fight. After a bunch of duels, elected to go with Reed, as it was easier to evade his SP1, because Reed's, when he backs out, it just goes that much further. And as well, if I was trying to do step backs to punish him, or side steps, it was a lot easier as well. With Torch, it's not that easy. But instead, I elected to basically bait heavies constantly. At this point, I wanted to throw that third SP3, which locks in the weakness in the SP1. So now I'm gaining power a lot stronger because I didn't have any pre-fights on as well, is all my specials are unblockable. But I believe from memory, I didn't necessarily need to use that to my advantage. I think I was basically countering with 5-hit combo and then would throw the SP1, which was doing some decent damage. I was a little nervous at one point that maybe I'd get trapped, so when I could, I was kind of hitting into the block. And also, too, I'm not a read specialist. I mean, yeah, I have one of the best players in the game as my officer with DLL with him. And he's literally the only reason why I would have ranked him initially, because I didn't understand necessarily his utility or understand how good he truly is. But with the Defiance and against this Mojo, like not having to worry about the degen, being able to evade all the hits, and just whenever he was throwing specials that it weren't going to do as much damage, and I was gaining power, it just made the fight really easy. I was really nervous about it initially, but it came down to being pretty good. So in this fight here, as you can see, the rest of the map is done. We ended up tying our battle group. Actually, I want to say for us, we're having a rough season in terms of our battle group. Not doing horrible, but just we're kind of giving up some extra deaths where needed. But in the end, we did get the victory, which was kind of the most important thing. And I decided at this point, too, to share my loyalty spends of what's been going on. So in total, I believe I took about 45 fights. I've died 3 times, and you've seen 2 to Civil Warrior and 1 to that I-bomb. And in the season, my fights have been relatively consistent. Like I said, this was one of the ones that I didn't necessarily need that much. So because I haven't necessarily been dying or taking damage, I haven't had to use as many pots. But here's where the expenditure adds up. If you look at all the kind of the invulnerability boosts I use, the advanced power boosts, even the special 3s, the special 12s, the class ones, and you can see I've spent over $1 million. What is it, 1,090,000? It's hard to see because I have a part of my screen that's blocking it, but over $1 million in loyalty, which is huge amount. So I'm hoping that Kabam, we got word that the compensation packages are ending now, which is going to be an issue, especially when it comes to buying those boosts and those invulnerabilities and those advanced power boosts, because I'm definitely running really low on the invul boost right now. And hopefully Kabam can realize that, despite not necessarily dying very often or anything like that, that in Tier 1 wars, there's a lot more that gets spent. And I feel like after watching a bunch of videos from a bunch of different friends, whether it be Campo or Slay or even Vega or different people, that we are spending a lot of loyalty, and hopefully Kabam adjusts for that. So anyways, with all that being said, thank you very much for tuning in and for watching. Like I said, very short war for me. Felt like I was on vacation. It was a nice little break, but I'd like to get back to some more fights, because I found with the 3 fights, it's almost more stressful because you can't get into it and engage and warmed up to take care of the other ones. But anyways, we'll see what happens. Take care, and we'll see you on the next one.